Issues. Today I'm going to talk about human feelings, like I was talking about it the last time before I stopped due to some cold, and I will specifically talk about intimidation. Intimidation is an act of imparting fear, imparting a sense of not being sure, imparting a sense of confusion in somebody for one's own given reasons. Intimidation is an art found in nature. There are times when a frog is being attacked by a snake. It bulges its body by blowing air within itself so that the snake overestimates the size. There are those that would feign attacks so that the predator or the attacker is deterred from attacking. It is a feature that is found in many animals. That's why you'll find sometimes a lion attacks an antelope and the antelope hits back and sometimes manages to flee. Shows that it has got power. Intimidation is also shown in the way that nature brings up things. Animals moving with confidence to make the one that is supposed to be an attacker feel that that is not a type of prey you take on. And this goes on even in human life. This is an interesting feeling that people have. There are people who have had inferior personalities, inferior abilities. And what do? They try to bring others down by creating falsehood, capitalizing on their weaknesses, and sometimes creating lies outrightly against those people. This happens in the social fields, in the political fields, even in places where you live. Like you'll find you may live with neighbors who every time they're always pronouncing that one is poor, that one can't afford. It is intimidation, a feeling of inadequacy being expressed. So the only way one can override the inadequacy is by trying to present and portray another person as inadequate so that you feel you have overridden his or her ego. It is a common feeling. It causes problems within neighborhoods, within working societies, within social interactions. There are people who give a false impression of what they are. They'll make you think they are super billionaires, only to realize that they are ordinary. But they talk big, and they look down upon any other person. It comes even in races and communities and countries, where other countries look down upon others. Other economies look down upon others. And some people who may even be of an inferior standing, feeling they are very superior than they are, taking oneself to be more important than you actually are. This is a feeling, a psychological feeling of oppression, of suppression. And it sometimes leaves us in a quagmire because it will involve us in activities that will leave us embarrassed. For instance, you take on a boss because you are a man and you are on the wrong, and then you realize you can get an addiction. Then it leaves you again in an embarrassing situation. Instead of having apologized about the crime, you now have to go again pleading for the same thing. And that time you are tough, big-headed, puffing yourself out. So this is something that has existed. It's within us, human society. It is up to human beings to learn to strike a balance. You've had situations where people say, this cannot be done by that. There was a time I saw a group that had visited German, a Kenyan group, and their people had gone to school there, and they had taught people there to sing a good traditional Luya song that they could sing, and I envy somebody from German singing Kiluya in a way that I envy better than I can do. But things happen when something like that now happens on the ground and you're together. One will feel sometimes intimidation. So one will start criticizing the pronunciation, the skin color. All these are things to cover up for the insufficiencies that you may have. Having seen that somebody has intimidated you in your very, 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 very own field. It is not bad for others to have talents more than us. We cannot be the same. You've had people talking of things, a discovery. And you have to keep repeating. This thing was discovered by a black man. It was done by a black man. A man is just a man, or a woman is just a woman. Black, green, yellow, purple, whatever. It's just a human being. So just say something has been done by so and so. Not a black man, a yellow man, a green man. Those are the things we have to get over. But it comes as a feeling of insufficiency, a feeling of inadequacy, and trying to bring down people so that you feel you are inferior. It has happened even with the world powers. A country will come and fly by big planes, big ship, things like that, so that you feel intimidated. Sometimes it works, but sometimes that person calls on the bluff, and sometimes it ends up with embarrassing results. So as we do this act of intimidation and whatever, we play this act because it's a human feeling. We should always remember that human beings are not better by colors. They are not better by nations. They are not better by ethnic groups. They are human differences. And what you may think is an advantage may be a disadvantage on the other side. Let's learn to strike a balance. Let's learn to look at one another nationally, internationally, ethnically, as human beings. That's my take today on the issue of intimidation.